was the grandest vision ever created on San Diego soil. The 1915 to 1916 Panama, California Exposition in Balboa Park. Architect Bertram Goodhue envisioned a hilltop dream city designed to recall the glamour, mystery, and poetry of the old Spanish days. El Prado is significant as a national landmark in that it helped spearhead the popularity of Spanish Revival architecture in America. In the years and decades following the expo, it was the passionate will of San Diegans to protect these buildings. Residents stood up to say no to demolition orders in 1933. George Marston and Gertrude Gilbert convinced city officials to save what remained of the Dream City. Sadly, 30 years later, 2 of El Prado's beautiful buildings were torn down despite the best efforts to save them. The argument prevailed that modern designs of the day should replace the historic Spanish Revival theme. The backlash couldn't have been stronger. It prompted civic activist B. Evenson and architect Sam Hamill to help spearhead the effort placing El Prado on the National Register as a historic district. This view was described as the definitive perspective. The Cabrillo Bridge was not only a key nomination, but so were the approaches and guard stations. But as we near the centennial of the Panama, California Exposition, the most destructive plans in decades are now being proposed for the park. It is a massive and costly modern bridge, road, and parking structure project that is incompatible with the historic Spanish Revival setting. Over 80 feet of the southeast wall of the historic Cabrillo Bridge will be demolished to make way for a modern appendage ramp to create a bypass road slashing across this historic view. It brings the full impact of automobile traffic near the edge of Alcazar Garden. Its beauty and tranquility today is buffered from automobile traffic by a wide arcade, lawn space, and retaining wall. Not so much buffer exists on the other side, where the proposed bypass road will transform a relatively quiet parking lot into a busy thoroughfare, intermingling with yet other traffic flow, catering to valet service. New roads will be graded and paved, sacrificing existing green space and trees. The multi-level, semi-underground parking structure will go behind the historic Organ Pavilion. A letter from the San Diego Zoo dated December 16, 2010 says, "We question the wisdom of spending $39 million for a net gain of only 272 parking spaces in a location that does not solve the park's overall parking problem." At a time in our nation's history when we should be improving public transit, walkability, and getting people out of their cars, this plan does just the opposite. It will bring more cars and more traffic into Balboa Park than ever before, and plans for rehabilitating Plaza de Panama are equally alarming. The emphasis thus far is on modern design trends from other parts of the world, and less on historic precedent. The proper blueprint for the future comes from historic plans, documents, photos, and literature, not trendy examples from other parts of the world. The faces of our national landmarks must always be protected. Proposals that make sense for remodeling a shopping mall do not belong in a National Register historic district. It is our park and our history. Let us follow in the footsteps of those who came before us and say no to the proposals that will desecrate this national treasure.